Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Bangers Sports Card Podcast, episode 29. And I am joined by the illustrious co-host, Mr. Rod from Picking and Punching Cards, Cary from American Arbitrage Cards. I am Tim from Over the Years Sports. And ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, boys and girls, we have a special guest. And her name is Kayla Collects.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She stole your gimmick already. Took the guns. I like her already. I like her already. She stole your gimmick.
Yeah.
I love it.
Get a new gimmick, Tim. It's over.
Tim, you've been... She's already replaced.
I've already been replaced.
Yeah, well, we talked about that last night, so...
What?
No, wait, who said that?
Yeah, so shout out to National. It's National. Today's National. And I got my media pass.
Cutting it close, man. Razor thin. Cutting it close.
You did it, buddy.
You got it. All right.
I was very concerned that I was going to be standing in line in general admission at 6 a.m. Because that's what time you should probably be there if you want to get in general admission.
Yeah,
because
dude.
Those lines
it's
going to
be back-to-back years that we get to have a moment with Cool Runnings.
Oh, yes.
With the guys from Cool Runnings. That was awesome last year.
I need to post that video, actually, because I have it.
Did I send that to you? My perspective?
Me,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
That was dope.
Nothing like filming something a year ago and not posting it, guys. Way to go.
Yeah,
hey, it's time. Wait long enough, it's on time.
Exactly. It's going to be like a special, like revisiting National 1 year later, before National. People will love it. Yeah,
Inception. Yeah.
Well, stop being rude.
Yeah.
Oh yes. So we do.
Good Lord, man. This is why I run this ship around here, right?
We do have a special guest today, Kayla Collects. Kayla, why don't you introduce yourself to the lovely people here of the No Banger Sports Card Podcast?
Yeah. So I am Kayla Collects. Excuse me. I've been collecting since I was like 9-10 years old. So I've been collecting longer than I haven't. Never took any breaks in between there. But I fell in love with sports cards, going to Tampa Bay Rays games, seeing people getting autographs on cards. I wanted cards to get autographs on. And so I went to Target, bought 2 packs of 2013 Top Series 1 baseball, pulled a Manny Machado rookie card, which was my favorite non-Rays player at the time. And I've been hooked ever since.
That's awesome. I used to, that's how I actually got into cards a lot too. Cause I worked growing up. The Philadelphia Eagles relocated their training camp literally to Lehigh University, and I was right by Lehigh University. So I used to literally ride my bike. Now, those who are unfamiliar with Pennsylvania, Lehigh University is on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
So I would literally
uphill
ride
both ways. Yes, we get it.
No, not
You're
uphill
old.
both ways. No. But dude, I would literally take me an hour to ride my bike all the way up to the top of the mountain. And I would go down the dorms. I was waiting for them to go for breakfast, and I would get all their autographs all the time. And then it would take me literally like 10 minutes to get home. I'll be passing cars. It's not.
Was Norm Sneed super nice? He seemed like a nice dude.
This guy right here.
What about pancakes? Did you get pancakes while you're
No,
there?
they didn't give me any breakfast though, man. I'm sure though, like if you had your quarterback from BYU. Or I know you're not a BYU guy, but Ty Detmer was there.
Yeah,
Coy
Detmer.
I'm sure
you guys had Coy too. Yeah, for a while.
And Coy. I'm sure those guys would have got me something if I would have asked, because they were super nice. But,
I love pancakes.
Yeah. You look like a pancake type of guy.
And biscuits and gravy too.
Yeah.
Bacon, sausage, eggs.
He's nice.
All right, we get the National. The Nationals today. Like we don't.
Yeah, it's the National. We're there right now. Right now, we're at the National.
We're not technically there. We're gonna be there tomorrow, but it's National. It's National Eve. All right, we're at the National Eve. I cannot wait. I'm not going to be able to sleep. That's going to be one thing tonight because I'm going to be so excited. But also, I get super paranoid I'm going to miss my flight. So anytime I have to travel to go to something I'm really excited about, I can't sleep. I get like 3 hours, which is
why you drive 3 days, or whatever, 2 days, whatever I'm doing. Tim has a long drive too.
Yeah, I'll be driving. So I think it's probably like 10 to 12 hours, give or take. So I'll try and, bust out most of that tonight. And then get there and then rock and roll. That's how I did it when we went to Cleveland. I literally pulled up to the Airbnb last year and I met up with Jimmy, and then we drove straight to the convention center and then met up with Cary and Dawn, and it was cool last year because like as soon as we walked in, it was like we walked in and we started. This is obviously because we have media passes before like anybody else was in there, so like. We're digging through bargain boxes immediately, and then all of a sudden Coach Co comes up, and then we're talking with him, and then Gary V walks by, and he's digging in the bargain box too. So it was just like it was like as soon as we walked in the door, it was just like national. We just hit the ground running, like as far as like meeting people and digging through boxes. So I think Wednesday is like one of my favorite days. Like it's just like even though it's like a shorter day, it reminds me a lot of like Chantilly, who I saw. I saw Kayla at Chantilly this go around, and so like the Friday nights at Chantilly is like my favorite because it's a little less crowded, and like you get that 7 hours at nighttime, and you really can kind of like dive in early and get some good deals.
So Kayla, you how many nationals have you been to so far?
4. So this will be my 5th.
Wow. Okay. Cary, how many have you guys been to? Both of you guys? Because this is my first.
One. This is my second. I'm
This
going
is
to
your
the
second?
second.
This will be my third.
Well, third. Okay. So I am the baby in the room here. So what advice? I mean, so people have never gone to a national before. You've been to 5 of them before. So what advice do you have? Someone going there for the very first time. Now, granted, I'm also looking for make content. I'm looking to buy some wax. I'm looking to go through bar. I guess I'm going to say
you're going to waste a lot of money.
Yeah,
with no thought, thought behind it.
We'll see. But I mean, what advice would you give to me my first time at the national?
Yeah. I would say first and foremost, just know you're going to be overwhelmed. It is huge and there's a lot of people, and a whole week long. I don't know how long you're going to be there, but you will get overwhelmed, and just going into it knowing that will help. Because everyone in there feels overwhelmed. I mean, this will be my 5th. This will be my 3rd in Chicago. And I'll still be like the first day, jitters, nervous, all that stuff. And then also I would think like have a plan. If there's very specific things you're looking for and you see them on the first day, pick them up. Otherwise than that, like I usually try not to spend any money the first day of the show unless it's in bargain bins or stuff like I don't think I'll see again. Because you'll run out of money fast if you just start throwing it out everywhere.
See, that's my concern. So I've never been to national before. I'm huge on, I'd like to open up exclusives. I like to open up packs and stuff like that. So my biggest concern is when I get in there, I'm like, do I need to just hit up all the tables that have exclusives of the national to make sure I secure those? Or is it one of those things I want to wait till like later on, save my money and then pick and choose what I want to do? So that's the inner conflict I have right now with this whole process. Because I know, Cary, like you picked up the Panini pack the last day and you hit the
last day
Caitlin
on Sunday,
101. So like I know some of the stuff's still there, but like for example, like I just went to Collect-a-Con in Orlando, and I went down there and V Friends was there. Literally, I got there probably like an hour after they opened, walked to the table, bought a blaster box and and then left, came back like 2 hours later, and they stopped selling, like hobby boxes and stuff like that because they just ran out right away because there's a high demand. So that's my biggest fear at this event. I'm traveling, flying, spending money, and then I'm just going to miss out on all this stuff.
The Blowout mega box thing, I think, is the one thing that we learned last year, because when we found out about it, we had no idea about it.
And then
we saw people walking around with it, and then we asked my buddy who's a dealer. He's like, yeah, you go get it at Blowout. And so we went, and they were sold out. And then the next day, I saw my buddy again, and he was like, they have them now. They're back again. They restocked them. So literally, like, I just ran there, called Cary, and I was like, Cary, should I buy some? And he was like, yeah, we'll split it. So, like, I bought one, and then Cary went back and bought one so that he could film for content too. But, like, I think that's the one thing that we need to be aware of, because I know obviously we all like ripping packs and we don't like to spend money on national treasures. So I think like it's a really cool product that Cary and I enjoyed. Like we had literally sat down at the Airbnb for like 3 hours.
That was so much fun. That was really fun.
Opening boxes. So I think that would be good too. And it might be dope to like buy one to do a break on Dibdit Cards.
Yeah.
Like a massive mega box, Blowout mega box break, and just open it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
so,
and it'd be cool to do.
For the viewers out there, they're listening. Like, what is this? What is this box? Explain this to us. Is it just a mystery box full of
It's blasters? A mystery box of products. So you can get I think you can get store credit for Blowout, which is like one of like the black. I don't know what they call them, like gold. It's gold ticket. Isn't that like a Willy Wonka thing? I've never seen Willy Wonka.
You never saw Willy Wonka?
Chocolate Factory?
No, never
What?
seen Willy Wonka.
You live under a rock?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you doing, dude?
They had the movie in like what the
Yeah.
70s, and
They've
then
had
they
like 17 movies.
Kayla,
Different
have you ever
people in
seen
it.
Willy Wonka?
I have.
Okay,
Oh,
damn.
yeah.
Everybody's seen it, man.
Go sit in the corner of shame right now.
It's
dude.
almost
Go sit in
it's
the corner of
almost
shame.
as good as Jurassic World for
Yes.
accuracy.
So you probably don't know this, Kayla, about me, but I don't believe in dinosaurs, so I get a lot of dinosaur jokes thrown my way.
I
But
can't
no,
wait. I'm
so-
going to take him to the wild card table so he gets
Hey.
the dynamite
Yeah,
cards.
exactly.
Yeah, everybody's been
It's
waiting
all right.
for that moment.
Dinosaurs believe in you. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that is all that matters. At least somebody believes in me. But no, you can get store credit from Blowout. There's like cases, so I think you can get like case is one of the things. I was looking at.
Yeah, they
the-
just
on Instagram.
released their unofficial checklist yesterday, I think.
Who did Blowout?
Oh,
Yeah,
I gotta
so it's
check
like
that out.
it shows like an image. I don't know if there's like a list, but I know cases of like national treasures were on there.
Which is 2
Cases
boxes.
of other products. And then like highlighting big products that you'd want to pull that aren't necessarily cases, but you could get boxes of those cards, because the whole, like, it's not packs that you get, it's like either blaster boxes of certain products or hobby boxes, all mixed in there. And I think they usually guarantee a certain floor value that you get. And then
I think there's one
obviously-
hobby at least or something or some, because I got like a Bowman U Best box and I got like a Bo Nix auto to 25 out of it.
Wow,
So
that's-
that paid for like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's-
And
but
then
it was
the
fun.
one
It was
me and
fun.
you split, there was a 2017 or 2018 optic football.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
that was gnarly.
Nice. So is it mixed sports, or they just
It's
have like a
mixed
baseball
sports.
one, football? It's all
Mixed
mixed sports.
sports.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
We had
Kayla, did
UFC, baseball, we
Yeah.
had basketball and football, I think, in the one Cary and I opened up and split at the Airbnb.
Okay. That's interesting because I'm be all over that. I will probably buy a couple of those just because I
I
use it
really-
for content and
I really
fun with
liked the wild card booth. I mean, that was fun for
Mhm.
content because like the content angle for me was great. Like the content covered everything, but like I really enjoyed like opening those packs, trying one of each, and I like it. Like that stuff is wild, and I think I got a lot of autos. I think almost every pack except the Paul Skeen one had like autos last year, and I don't know who they're doing this year, but it should be fun.
So let me ask you this, Kayla, because obviously I've been to 2. This will be my 3rd. This will be Cary's 2nd, Rod's 1st national. You're 5th, right?
Mhm.
So how is Chicago? Because I've done Atlantic City and I've done Cleveland. I've never done Chicago. I didn't do Chicago the year in between AC and Cleveland because at that time it's a lot more expensive to go to national Chicago than it is Cleveland and Atlantic City.
Yes.
But obviously we're making it work this year. But what is the big difference for you from Chicago and Cleveland and Atlantic City?
Yeah, I think just the space, like the space is by far my favorite. The layout I like a lot more. I think Cleveland was good. That was my first Cleveland national that I'd gone to. But I think with Cleveland, it didn't really feel like the national to me with just how it was set up. Like it felt small, which is crazy to say because it was massive. But Chicago just feels so much bigger. That would be one thing. And I think like there's a lot more events happening usually around the national, after the national, in Chicago because things are so close. Like a lot of people usually go to like Cubs games or White Sox games, or people host things at different restaurants that are nearby just because there's so much to do around Chicago and around Rosemont. So those are probably the 2 main differences.
one of the big things you said there about stuff to do around there. So I will tell you, I'm overwhelmed already. I haven't got to the national because I've been like looking like I saw there's a soccer show. Cary sent me.
Yeah, that's what we're
down the
definitely going to
road.
do the
Yeah.
soccer show.
Oh,
because
it was so much.
it's
One of my
so
favorite
much
parts
fun.
last year. Yeah.
There's trade shows to go to. I know people are doing like special events. They're doing
Mhm.
private events. So going there first time, how would you navigate the stuff outside the national? Because that's almost just as big as the actual national, in my opinion, with everything else going
it
on.
is. I know there will be a trade night every night. I think the official like trade nights start Thursday after the national, and I think go until Saturday night. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday. There may be one Sunday, I'm not sure, but there will be unofficial things that pop up all the time. There will be people that will, I mean, especially because you guys have a platform and you make content, there will be people that come up to you like, hey, I want to grab dinner. And you'll probably hear that from like 4 or 5 different people and you won't be able to get to all of them.
Do they pay for the dinner though?
I don't know.
I'm just asking for a friend.
That's the key for Tim right there.
He's gonna be walking around with a sign now. Thanks a lot, Kayla. Say more content for food. You know what I mean? Like, oh, God.
Yeah, I don't remember your question, but
do you know how pumped he is? I literally got us a suite at the Hilton there, and he literally has free continental breakfast. So Tim is so excited about that.
I'll be up at 5 a.m. First person in line for the pancakes, boy. Best believe.
Oh yeah, that's an important thing with the National. Honestly, like I don't know, I know how Cleveland I think was cool with that. I bring snacks in like little granola bars and stuff like that, like and water if they let you. Because that's the big thing. You're on the floor if you're bargain boxing like us. Like you're on the floor forever, and hydration and getting a little energy is important.
Did you bring a bucket to pee into so you can just sit at the bargain box and just pee?
Oh, that's the best.
You
part.
gotta find the right area. Like we found the secret back room where you could use the restroom without waiting in line. That was awesome.
That is one benefit of being a female at card shows. I never have to wait in the line for any bathroom. But last year the line for the bathroom in Cleveland for the men's room was long.
Yeah. It took us 2 days. Yeah. The second day, I think
it was the second day we realized there was another one.
They were like, you have a media pass, and there's like all the way in the back where like all the like corporate booths were, and like the bar. There's like a long hallway back there, and if you with the media pass, we could just go back there to go to the bathroom. So when we found that, we were like, thank you, Lord Jesus, because it's not even just the fact of standing in line; it's the fact of like. There's somebody else could be finding that one of one in the bargain box while I'm standing in line to go piss. You know, like that's what I'm worried about. I'm not saying worried about going to the bathroom. I'm worried about missing the one on one in the bargain box. You know, so it can be kind of crazy. So, what's your journey to get you to here? Because like. For those of you that don't know, and obviously we'll put all of your information down below where you guys can find Kayla's content, but like. You've interviewed some crazy people as far as athletes go and, you know, people in the industry and stuff like that. How did you get to where you are now as far as, you know, creating content and doing interviews and going to all these different conventions across the country?
Yeah. So I have to credit CSA and Chantilly Show for a lot of that opportunity. I've gone to the Chantilly Show for 8 years now. And
that's crazy that this is the first time you and I have bumped into each other at that show.
I mean, it took Ethan introducing us for me to become familiar. I'd seen some of you guys around and some of your content, but to be introduced and like actually bump into you took 8 years of me going to the show. But as I was saying, I've gone to Chantilly for 8 years, and I didn't become aware that I could particularly have backroom access to this show until a year ago. So it took me 7 years of going to this show, making content. I wasn't making content for the entire 7 years, but that kind of led to me getting opportunities to interview athletes there because the staff of CSA became aware of my content and they thought I would benefit their show by showcasing what athletes are there and kind of being an ambassador of that show, which I was happy to do because I had enjoyed that show for so long that it's a part of me. Like a lot of those dealers have seen me since I was like 13 years old when I started going to that show. So it's like a mini family for me. And then from there, some of the same people that help with CSA run the Philly show. So it kind of translated over like, hey, we did the Philly show also. I think it would be awesome to have you there covering athletes, doing that kind of thing. And then with the national, similar kind of thing happened. I was doing an event with eBay and Talon Sports Cards. You guys are probably familiar with him.
Yeah, Brian.
He had a relationship with the National through Ray Schulte, who's no longer on the media team for the National, but he was like, hey, like, I think you should meet Ray. I think you do great content. I think he would find a benefit in having you on the national team. So that was 2 years ago. And I became an ambassador for the show, kind of got some access there. So this will be my 3rd year as an ambassador for the National, but kind of just through being myself and being a genuine person, my name got floated to the right people and they received me well. And here I am.
Say that last part one more time for everybody who wants to know about like what really clicks when it comes to making content is being genuine. Like,
Yes.
and I think that that's something that all of us like pride ourselves on. Like when you saw me and you met me, like I'm making content, but where I was literally face deep in like a 50 cent box. Like,
Yes.
like, I mean, I was going in, and she was like, "There's Stranger Things over there. Like, there's a base. Like, I mean, I had a pile going. Like, and big shout out to Ethan. I talked to him last night actually because I missed some shows, 3 shows this weekend because I was recovering from being sick. So like, big shout out to him for introducing us. But like, I think that that's something that's super important, and it goes a long way, not just obviously with like making content, but building relationships at these shows. Like you said it, like Chantilly, it's like you go to these shows so much, like building your relationships and family and stuff like that at card shows is so important. And like I'm gonna get these guys up here finally, I hope in October for the Chantilly show, because Kayla will tell you, like, it's literally like I go to shows all over and you go to shows all over. Like Chantilly is one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show on the circuit. So, have you been to Dallas? I've never been to Dallas.
I have not been to Dallas, no.
Maybe that's what we got. We have to have a Dallas first time.
I've heard Dallas is good for like what we do. I've heard it.
Oh yeah,
it's on the list. I want to go. It's not too bad.
So you mentioned earlier about creating content and going to these shows and stuff like that. So a lot of people that listen to our show, you know, we pride ourselves being on the bargain box guys. You know, we dig through $1-2 boxes. Like that's pretty much all of our content surrounding that. Garage sales, flea markets, whatever we can possibly find bargain box. It doesn't really matter, you know, unique different places. But, you know, for people that are just starting out, maybe that want to get involved in content. One thing you did say that how important it was for you to make these contacts. So can you go about kind of like talk a little bit more about your journey about I know you said that people put you in the right place, but someone that's starting out, how would you recommend they start out going to these card shows, you know, starting to meet these people to start off with, how to make the content?
Yeah. So first and foremost, like I said, just be yourself. Like even just through the 4 of us, we all have different personalities. We're all going to make different content. Even if we went to the same bargain bin and we all looked through the same bargain bin, we'd all take away something different and our content would be different. So just kind of going into content, knowing that if you're yourself and you create the content you want, you'll find your audience. And you shouldn't really go into it being like, I want X amount of dollars or I want X amount of followers. Just do it because you enjoy it. That's how I started. I wasn't on camera for like the majority of my Instagram account existing. I think I made it in 2016 and I think I got on camera 2022 just because I was a young female in this hobby and it wasn't necessarily like, I don't want to say a safe space, but like there's
I mean
things that I had to think about.
No.
95% of the conventions you go to are going to be male dominated. So it makes sense that you just want to protect yourself and not saying anything has happened. You're just saying, hey, you know, I'm going to be cautious.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
So kind of from there, like I had some friends in the hobby encourage me like, hey, like you already kind of are in this hobby so much, you should probably be on camera. And that kind of transitioned. Eventually, like you get more comfortable. That's another thing. You start out, like I'm sure if all of us went to our first videos, it'd be really awkward and be like, I don't want to show this to anybody. So we all start somewhere. And that's another important thing to note is that it will take time for you to build your niche and what you're comfortable in and how you want to film certain things and getting to where you want to go. And then if there's people that like want to interview athletes, I kind of just like, you kind of have to build a confidence that makes other people want to give you opportunity. Because a lot of the times, like I did things on my own of going to soccer games and stuff like that and just asking an athlete, hey, can I ask you one question? And sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes, but making yourself ready for those opportunities when they come. And that's something I've learned is that the confidence that you have to have in those scenarios are what gets you the questions. Because I'll share this story. I haven't shared this story publicly, but it's kind of funny.
Breaking exclusive. Let's go.
So Trevor Lawrence was at the Chantilly show last fall, I believe. And for me, he's like one of those athletes that I would freak out over interviewing because my dad, his brother went to Clemson. And so I grew up watching a lot of the Clemson football games during the Deshaun Watson era, Trevor Lawrence era. And so his career meant a lot to me just because of those fond memories I got to share with my dad. And So I go up to his agent. This is kind of how things happen in the back room is you approach their agent or the person that's floating around with them saying, hey, I would like to ask your athlete a question. Would they have time? If they say yes, then you can approach the athlete after saying, I want to ask you a question whenever it works with their timing. So with Trevor Lawrence, I was a little too excited. And I typically never blow my cover, like am too cool or anything. But I went up to his agent and I was stumbling over my words. I was trying to pitch what I wanted to say. And I just didn't get the interview. And sometimes things like that happen. And I'm willing to admit, like, I ended up getting other good content at that show. But then if you get overexcited or you fangirl a little too much, it doesn't work out sometimes. So even I, after interviewing, I don't even know, I should probably do a count of how many athletes I've interviewed, but even after being in those rooms for so long, you'll still have moments like that where you kind of regret maybe like going a little overboard, but yeah.
So now the goal is, because, you know, if you didn't know, Trevor Lawrence is an avid listener here of the No Banger Sports Podcast.
What's up, T-Law?
Hey, T-Law, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
Yeah, so let's make that happen for Kayla, T-Law. We would appreciate that if you could do that.
This is a solid for us. We'd appreciate it.
He's actually, allegedly, he is one of our members of the No Banger Sports Car membership here.
And he's
a value box, which is kind of cheaping out. He's got plenty of money. He's got plenty of money.
Well, listen, we have a lot
Buy a case, T-Law. Buy a case, for goodness sakes.
For those who don't know, we do have memberships here. If you guys would like, if you guys love this podcast, you guys want to support it, for $1.99, you can be a Bargain Box member just to support the guys and help pay for Tim's baby formula. Number 2, we have a value box level. Now, if you're a value box level, you're a little bit above the Bargain Box, and you actually get this podcast one day early. But if you want to be an elite, like this guy right here who buys the case, and you want to get exclusive content, you like to get the podcast early, you want to get a mention, a shout out on this podcast, well then step up the plate and buy a case like me. We have a couple members like to buy cases on here, like Dusty Box Treasures. Tim, do you know the rest of them?
Todd Cahote.
Okay. How about you,
Capote.
Gosh. Paulo Banchero, is he one of them?
Paulo Banchero, allegedly.
Awesome.
Kayla, do you know we talked about earlier, do you know a couple of the members on this who have joined us behind the scenes? Let's see if she can get one. Let's see if she knows one here.
It went in one ear, out the other.
Out one ear. That's okay. Ginger King Cards. Also members, a lot of these guys are members of the
Isn't it Ginger Card Kingdom?
It's Ginger King Cards, actually.
Oh. Okay.
But I think, that's what his
I don't think it is.
His handle on YouTube is Ginger King Cards.
Yeah,
but I think
if you're making merch ever, Kayla, I'm gonna tell you, I'm a sucker for coasters.
Okay.
So I love it when people make coasters and they send me their coasters. It is Ginger King Card Kingdom.
I understand that, but I'm saying his YouTube handle is Ginger King Cards.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was trying to get to.
He's Ron Burgundy over here. He's going to read exactly what that is.
And shout out to Bodega Finds. Also,
speaking about Ron Burgundy, F you there, San Diego. All right?
Ginger King Cardum's wife, and they have both sent me coasters. I feel obligated to show their coasters every episode now.
But we do have some other good members. You know, we have Value Box, Jordan Brown, and we got Lodi Sports Cards. We got
California representing. Those are two California guys, right?
That's right. We do. Speak about California, Left Coast Picker. Isn't the Bargain Box down there? The Tank. Isn't that your boy, the Tank?
That's my boy, yeah, Frank the Tank.
So if you guys come support
Frank the Tank is supporting
Frank the Tank, yeah. So,
nice.
Shout out, man. All right, back to where we were.
Yeah, stop your shill job. Let's get back to the podcast, bro.
Okay, I have a question. Favorite athlete you've ever interviewed? Like, not even necessarily your favorite athlete, but like the funnest interview you ever had. Because like I feel like if you interviewed me, it could we would have fun, right? Like I'm a wild guy, I'm very animated. But like, who is your favorite interview so far? I know it's tough.
Give her a second. We'll give you a second to think about that. But you mentioned earlier about how horrible your content was. You know, the first time you filmed your first video. Do you guys remember your first time you filmed it? Like how your first video was? Was it bad?
Oh yeah.
It was bad?
I remember.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what, like, I don't know.
Mine is I had my stepson help me film a CGC comic book box, not mystery box, but like opening from my first submission there. and he's like his hand shaking. Looks like my cameraman's like Parkinson's. Like his hands just like shaking around. The light's horrible. Like, but no one's gonna watch it. Like no one's gonna watch your first video, stuff like that. But I just remember like looking back at it now. I'm like, man, like you come so far over time.
My first video on American Arbitrage, my garage selling channel, was how to sell sports cards. Was the title of it. So it was literally, yeah. And we had went to a garage sale and I got a good deal. So all I did was just talk about the cards and the tote of cards I got, and Dawn filmed, and that was.
I will tell you, I looked a lot skinnier.
The beard adds.
Oh,
20
dude.
pounds, bro.
The 5 years of like my hair receding and my graying of my beard is upsetting, honestly, to look at. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm the only one that gets sexy over the years. I get it, man. I get it. So, it's happened. Some say it's a gift, some call it a curse. All right. But no, Kayla, like, we're going back. I want to give you a little time to think about what is your favorite interview you had so far with athlete?
I don't know if I could choose just one, because there's some that like mean a lot, but then there's also some that were really fun. So I'll give you like my top 3.
Yes.
Brandi Chastain for me last national. That was a huge moment. Growing up a women's soccer fan, wanting to play professional soccer when I was younger, Brandi Chastain in that era of women's soccer of the 99ers, like inspired me to love soccer so much. And that team made me fall in love with soccer. And to have her be at the national and me being an ambassador of the show to get me that opportunity was kind of a full circle moment of, like if I didn't fall in love with soccer when I was younger, I don't know if I would have ended up falling in love with baseball. Like it kind of started the whole sports train for me. And cards came later, but that interview was just a lot of fun. She was on her way out and I was like, hey, can I ask you one question on behalf of the national? She's like, yeah, just walk and talk, which I haven't done very many walk and talk interviews. So that was a fun experience. That was like behind the curtain of the national and all the madness that goes on there. So that was really fun. Another national interview that I've loved was 2 years ago. I got to interview Prince Fielder. Super nice guy. Couldn't be a better human. He took a lot of time with me, a couple minutes. And for me, when I fell in love with baseball, like early 2010s, like he was one of the dudes. Like he was all-star, home run derby, just a guy you wanted on your team and you didn't want to face. And to me, like he's like legend status. Some people don't think of him that way, but to me, he was legend status. And that was one of my first interviews I had at the national. And I fangirled internally. I didn't do it externally like with T-Law. But that was really fun. And then the other one was actually this past Chantilly show. I interviewed Rondé and Tiki Barber together.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was their first show ever together. In all the years they've been professional athletes, they've never signed at a show together, which to me is crazy. I'm like, how has someone not booked them together? But they're both big Star Wars fans, and I learned that when Rondé was in Chantilly last year, and so I ripped a Star Wars blaster with them, and had like a pack wars with them, and that video hasn't come out yet. It will be out by the time this episode's out, so check it out. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And we had like a crowd in the back room kind of watching us rip packs, and they had never been into cards, but they said they're probably going to collect them now because they already collect a lot of Star Wars stuff. So yeah, those are probably like my top 3. There's probably some that I'm forgetting. But yeah.
All right. So you don't have to say names. Don't want to get you in trouble here in hot water, but I will say, like, when I worked for the Eagles, when I've been to a lot of conventions, I did professional wrestling. I meet a lot of celebrities. You meet a lot of athletes throughout that time. We talked about the best experiences. You don't have to name a name, but what's somebody? Can you give us somebody? Maybe do you have any like bad experiences with celebrities or athletes along the way that maybe they always say never meet your idol because you don't have that bad experience and ruin your whole childhood and stuff like that.
Well, Cary, when I met Cary, it was just as good as I had imagined.
Yeah, Rod was just as much of a diva as you would expect. Rod is.
I thought you were calling me a D-bag. I guess I'll take diva.
No.
I got that going for me.
I walk up to you and you're like, bring me
Red
some water.
M&Ms
You're like,
only.
bring me some water. I'm like, we're at a yard sale. I had to go to a gas station and it took me like a half an hour. Allegedly. So.
Yeah, I honestly haven't had too many bad experiences. There's obviously times when you're in an area with a lot of athletes that some have their hoodies up with headphones on, and that's a no-go, and that's not somebody you should approach. There are some people that kind of carry a reputation of not being the nicest people, so I usually stay away from those kind of people. I try to set myself up for success with a lot of the athletes I particularly try to interview, because I try to find ones that I think have a good personality or seem friendly enough to where they would want to do a video and would want to be on camera. So luckily, I mean, there's some people that are also in the back room with CSA and Philly that have tried to interview like the big time Hall of Famer athletes. I won't say who, but they will no longer interview people in the back room anymore because they just had a bad experience. And so things like that happen. Luckily for me, that hasn't really happened, but it is something that comes with the territory.
Yeah, I've had some experiences in the past. I remember when I'll never forget this. I was probably 12, 13 years old, and William Thomas, who was a linebacker for the Eagles, came up, and I just asked him if he could sign a couple cards for me. And man, he just like ripped into me. He's like, "Oh, you're not slick. I signed cards for you the other day. I'm not signing anything for you anymore." And I was just signing for I was a huge Eagles fan. Like I was just getting these signed for my personal collection, stuff like that. So, but I will say, like sometimes you want to give guys the benefit of the doubt. Maybe just call them on a bad day. But no, he wasn't. That was just him just being a jerk, because I seen him interact with other people multiple times throughout that process. But I think the key thing that you said there,
you have a big beef with William Thomas.
Yes,
you keep mentioning it on the show. He's gonna find out at some point.
He does
I'm
listen.
pretty sure
allegedly.
he's watching right
yes,
now.
So he's. But no, I would say the one big thing I think takeaway from what you just said there, though, most important thing is when to approach an athlete and when not to. Like if you see someone, put this out there. If you guys see people eating, you see people with their personally with their family. Yeah. You see people working out. Like when I see athletes at the gym and stuff like that, they have headphones on. They want to just get through their workout because they have X amount of time, or they're doing time sets. And I see so many people come up to them at the gym and stuff like that, like in the middle of a set, like working out, and like, no, this is not the proper time to do that. So there is a right and wrong time to do that. And I think that's key that you just brought that up. So
just so you guys know, you don't have to ever worry about coming up to me in a gym. That's never going to happen. But if I am eating, feel free to come up to me, please. That's most of the time I spend is eating.
Yeah, so. I'm either at a card show or at Wawa, one of the two places.
So last time Tim walked past the gym, he's like, "What the hell's a jime?" I know what's a jime. I don't know. And he walks in. Oh, this is a jime.
So listen. I am. If you don't see the trophies and stuff, I am a world class athlete. But I just
trophies.
don't.
It was.
I just don't go to the gym as much anymore, obviously,
or ever.
But ever, yeah. I have a baby though, so I am constantly doing workouts with the baby. The baby is a bruiser. For those of you that want updates, he's getting close to 20 pounds now. So it's just turned 4 months. So we'll get some exact measurements later upcoming. I got an appointment soon. But my question is this: is how much of this we'll use national as an example? How much of the interview process has to be set up beforehand at national? Because Cary and I had media passes last year, right? And we had no idea what that entailed for us to do.
We're like, can we walk back here? And we just did. And we could, I guess.
So we just walked back there, and we were kind of just walking around, and it's an experience because I've always been on the other side of it. I've never gotten autographs at a show before because I'm always digging. Like that's what I do. But like sometimes you kind of walk around and like I run into people obviously at all times and it just kind of happens. But like when we were back there, it's like it's eye opening. Like I remember we saw Edger and James, and it's just like an entire wall of helmets, and he's just walking by like this, like just signing the helmets.
That was fascinating just to see the back room, like how it all works and. The athletes like talking to each other because they're friends. They were competitors.
Yeah, we saw Dan Marino and Troy
Polamalu. I'm like, this is just cool from afar to just watch.
Yeah, and then like we saw Chevy Chase, and it was like kind of like this like standoff moment because we were not supposed to be filming Chevy Chase. Like there's like no videos, and like he was looking at us, and he made a very interesting gesture towards Cary.
No, he was funny. He's
a funny guy, and Randy Quaid. But like for me. Highlights obviously was we were walking by, and for those that don't, Cool Runnings is one of my favorite movies of all times, and so like I see Malik Yoba and Junior, and they're signing like a Jamaican bobsled like uniform, And I look at Cary and I'm like, Cary, there they go right there, right? And I'm like, I just walked up to them. Like, I didn't tell Cary what I was doing or anything. I literally just walked up to them. I was like, I just want you guys to know that, like, your scene is, like, in the movie when he's telling him to look in the mirror and tell him what you see. It's one of my favorite movie scenes of all time. Malik Yoba looks at me and he's like, oh, yeah? Do it right now. So I look at Cary, and I'm thinking Cary knows the scene. He has no idea what I'm about ready to do.
No, you put me on the spot and made me look bad for not knowing. I didn't even know what was going on.
And
I literally
reenacted
reenacted the entire scene between the two of them.
That was a cool
right
moment.
there in front of them. And, like, it was a great moment. Like,
Can you prove that for us, please?
What's that?
Can you prove that? I don't believe that
I
you
do.
did that.
Cary was
Dude,
there.
we got the footage, bro.
No, I don't want to see the footage. I want to hear you live. Do it right now.
No, we'll save that for another time. But listen, it was an experience. But, like, at that time, we had media passes and we had no idea, like, what we could and what we couldn't do. Like, it was because obviously we are card focused first, you know. So, like, how does that process work with setting up the interviews?
Yeah. So for each show, it's different. Honestly, I think a lot of people will be surprised that it's not as like in advance as you think. So there's like one person that each, I guess, ambassador of the show, media members are different because not everyone can have that access to interview athletes. I know this year it's going to be way more strict than it was last year. Just with the new team, the new owners of the National, they're doing things a little bit differently. But so usually we kind of float a couple names of athletes we'd like to interview with a person on the staff. And they're like, okay, we know that this person's good or this person's not. Or Fanatics athletes, usually we don't get any access to because they have their own usually own separate signing rooms and they're usually separate. They're usually there on behalf of Fanatics and not of the actual show. So that's one thing to note. Like, you probably won't ever see anybody at CSA or Philly interview a Fanatics athlete unless something magical happens. It doesn't usually happen. But with the National, we kind of float names by just so they are aware of that we want to try to ask them a question. And sometimes that will be communicated to that athlete's agent. And sometimes they'll be like, no, we won't have any time. This person's in and out. So that will automatically probably be a no. But a lot of times it's like being at the right place at the right time and asking and approaching it saying, hey, like, I'm a ambassador of the show. I'd love to ask you one question, or do you have time? It just kind of happens that way. Like with Cheryl Miller last year, I got to interview her, but it was because I went through her autograph line because I wanted her autograph. But then after I was waiting and I said, hey, like, would you, it was after she was done signing. She was just talking to some people and I asked her. That wasn't something I had pre-approved, but she was nice enough and I saw her personality and I figured she would say yes. Like, we won't get in trouble for approaching an athlete unless we're like arrogant or mean, which I never really do that. So I usually don't have a problem. But yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. Sometimes it's approved and set up, or sometimes it's just spur of the moment.
You talked a lot earlier about, preparing your content for the show. So how much planning does go into it? Because I know like the Cary and Tim and I, when we do the shows, like a lot of this is on the fly because we're filming our finds, what we're finding. So we're not really pre-planning any content, maybe like if he goes, Cary does a lot of box openings. So he'll go to like Walmart or Target and pick up like a blast or come home and open it. So he knows he's gonna be doing that. But like, how much thought process, what is, your kind of how you go about creating your content for the shows, and then how much are you thinking about before the shows, going to the shows, what you're going to do?
Yeah. So in my head, I kind of think, okay, week of, I want to have at least one post a day. That could be even just a photo dump from the day. And then for me, a successful show, like outside of the National, would be like, can I have a week's worth of content from this show? Whether that's interviews, whether that's me on the show floor, whether that's me finding something, a card I bought, my pickups. For the National, I try to have like a week plus of content, just because of how large scale that show is. I want to try to get the most out of it. So like last year I did an interview with Gary Vee that was a couple minutes long. And so I broke that into a whole bunch of different parts.
5 parts,
I
right?
probably had, I probably had maybe 15, 20 posts that were National specific. last year, and that's kind of the number I aim to have. Sometimes you get less, sometimes you're in the moment and you don't capture as many things on camera. I try to plan out as much as I can because I am a planner, and it sometimes stresses me out if I don't have things locked down, especially with the national. I'm kind of surprised this year I don't have as many things already locked down as I typically do, but there's a couple things on my radar, different booths that I know I want to go to, different booths I want to showcase, and there are some athletes that I hope to interview. But yeah, I try to plan as much as I can because a lot of, as a media member or as somebody who does a lot of content, so much of it is out of your control, especially at a show like the National. You don't know what you're going to find in a bargain box, or you don't know what athlete you're going to get to talk to, or you don't know if you're going to be able to collab with this person and their schedules will line up with you or not. So I also try to find small things that are in my control that I could do. So it's like similar to what Cary did of getting a Panini pack and pulling out Caitlin Clark 101. I've never pulled Caitlin Clark 101.
Don't worry, neither have I.
No, that was
all these guys do is pull 101s. I'm over here.
And that
like,
was, I mean, that wasn't the idea. Obviously, I had no clue that was going to happen. I was just showing the process, and I lucked out, and I was able to have a cool piece of content, even more so than what I thought it was going to be originally. So that was fun.
Which is a cool experience because like that was simple. That was supposed to be literally like a short for you.
Yeah, it was going to be a short of me opening the original thing that was $90 plus that. I was just going to add it because I thought that'd be interesting, and it ended up being something totally different.
That turned into this big thing where you became this cult clip online about this guy pulling out $80 box, pulling out a 101. Then you had the whole process of going to Golden Auction House. We did lives, watching your auction, what people bid on it live. Like, so it's kind of cool how
that's one of the coolest.
One little thought and one little thing, like a 2-minute video, that's all it should have been.
It's just showing up. Like when you're doing content, because you're right, Kayla, there's only so much you can control. You have to just be able to, and that's part of being a content creator is, and that was very obvious to notice where the story was there. Yeah. But it's different every time. Sometimes it's, I go to a show and I don't find anything, or maybe I just had to, look really hard to find, low end stuff that I can sell on Whatnot or whatever, and there's a different story every time. You never really know what it's going to be. And I think being a content creator is trying to tell whatever story you have in the most efficient way that people want to listen and watch.
How many silver packs did you open up last year, Kayla?
0. Yeah.
Tim, how many did you open up?
I opened up 0 also.
I opened up 0 because
I don't know what the Panini ones are called. Tops is a silver packs, right? I don't know.
Well,
I did one Panini
call
pack.
them all silver packs, right?
Yeah, I think Panini's also silver packs as well.
I'd like to. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to be like, Pac-Man and do like 800 packs because then I'm getting nothing. So I'm just going to do maybe a couple more, and then expect what I expected last year, which was like maybe I'll get something numbered to 99.
Rod, you want to go halfies with me?
On what?
On one pack?
You get the good card, and Rod gets whatever the good card isn't.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. I'm down to do. I have FOMO right now. Like I have the worst case of FOMO right now that I'm going to miss out on these opportunities of getting like these exclusive packs.
Oh, dude.
Everything else. Like
you gotta live in the moment when you're there, man, because it's too much. You're gonna miss stuff no matter what, and there's too many. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunities. A lot of people to meet. The only thing I would say is just like any other card show, for me, like if I'm digging through a booth and it's good, stay there. If you're doing well and you're finding stuff, don't just leave because you're like, I gotta experience everything else.
Yeah, there's 5 days. 5 days.
So like Saturday or whatever, you can go do a speed run if you missed anything, because I think you're going Sunday morning. So
I think I might do a speed run when I get in there first to start off with, just to get a lay of the land.
There's no way you can be able to do it. Your eyes are gonna light up like a kid on Christmas morning, bro. I'm telling you. Because even after, for me, it was weird too because my first national was at Atlantic City, and I kind of got the feeling of what Kayla was saying about Cleveland, right? So like, I don't think I really got the magnitude of it until that show was really awesome because they had the Mickey Mantle on display. At the Atlantic City National, and like this is kind of like right around COVID too, and my mind was one tracked because at that time I was big on Michael Harris and nobody knew who Michael Harris was at that time. I spent every minute of the days that I was there trying to find Michael Harris, and 80% of the people were looking at me like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then the other 20% were like, maybe. And so like at that point in time, like his Bowman papers, because he was a first auto only guy, his Bowman papers were doing like $10, $15. So like I was digging through raw boxes of raw cards, like trying to find pro debut and Bowman paper of Michael Harris. Like that's how crazy it was. So like it can be very interesting because like time flies like so crazy. That's what I was gonna ask you, Kayla. Like, do you set aside like, okay, day one, I'm going to spend X amount of time on the floor, like shopping. Day two, like, do you try and, because I know you have obligations, obviously, as an ambassador to do other things. How do you manage your time as far as shopping goes?
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of that kind of gets planned out maybe after day one. After seeing like some booths will have athlete pop-ups or they'll have different things they're offering at different times. So what I do, this is a tip. I put it all in my Google Calendar on my phone. And I get alerts maybe like 10 minutes before. I also do that with athletes that are signing. That way I know to kind of be around that area. If there's someone I really want to see, I put in their signing time on my phone. But I also do that with like if I know Topps is doing a Pack Wars at this time, and that's something I want to capture. I put that in on my Google Calendar. It gives you notifications. That is something that I like to do because it doesn't require like a good internet connection to get those notifications. It just requires you putting it in there.
It's smart. Yeah,
what
I think I'm going to do is I'll create a shared calendar for all three of us. That way we can literally we can add everything on there, and then that way all of us will get notifications. So if there's something that we all want to do, or maybe we don't have internet service, and we can use those as meetup points or maybe checkpoints throughout the show for us to meet up.
Yeah, because I mean, me and Cary, we walk into the show together and we walk out of the show together. But like 50% of the time, we're not together, you know, because like sometimes if we get to a table and it's something that we're both kind of interested in and there's a massive amounts of boxes, because a lot of times, like, obviously we buy everything, especially now, you know, like we last national, like I was, you know, Cary wasn't doing as much baseball as he is now. Right. You know, but like I wasn't doing as much football and basketball as I am now. So like we would kind of like give each other cards that we found in the bargain box and stuff like that. But like sometimes like it's just there's not like enough room at a table for both of us because it's so many people, especially with the boxes, because not everybody has good bargain box etiquette. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the fact of going to card shows. But
so
like,
wait, what is good bargain box etiquette?
You let Tim get whatever he wants out of his cards that you find.
No, like so like one thing is if I walk up to a table and there's bargain boxes and I see somebody digging through a bargain box, I ask them, have you already looked through this box or have you already looked through this row? Because it's, for me, it's messed up to like, if somebody's going through a 4-row box and they've gone through 2 rows, it's messed up for me to jump in front of them and go through 2 rows that they haven't already gone through in that box. I hate doing that. I hate when people do it to me because like, especially if I'm going through a 4-row box and like I'm in a row and somebody grabs the stack of cards in the back of the row I'm going through, I will literally give them the death eye. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, because like, you know, like it's just, to me, it's unwritten rule of bargain boxing. Like, you just don't do that, right? And another thing is too is that like, I don't want to have to end up going through a row of cards and then be like, damn, I already looked through all these cards because somebody took it from another row and put it in that row.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
So like stuff like that, and then like just being like aware of your space. Like I'm very cautious of my space, right? And a lot of that comes from, you know, from my background, obviously in the streets. So like, you know, like you want to be respectful of people's area. Like, and I think some people don't realize that. And like, it's super important to me, especially if there's kids around too. Like, I want to make sure that the kid has his space and like there's not 2 big guys on each side of him, like, and he feels uncomfortable going through boxes, right? Like, to me, that's important. So like there's a lot of stuff like that. I think there's unwritten rules when it comes to bargain boxing. And at the national, like, you're going to run into a lot of people that are nasty. That's just, I mean, like, it's like that at any big show, right? Like, people are not all friendly like me and Cary.
You're also going to run into a lot of cool people though. Like, I love the discussions you have in the bargain boxes.
Set builders.
Yeah, no, but they like, and you find stuff for each other. That happened a lot last year. You're looking for this team or this player. Here you go. You just hand them to them. I mean, that's part of the fun of it too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just
We can make it what we want it to be, is what we're saying.
1000%.
Like you can change the vibe even sometimes in boxes if you come in positive.
I literally just felt that needed to be said though, because like we all follow that, but it needed to be said out loud so people can hear. Because a lot of people may not understand that. Like, there's a rhyme and reason, like how you look through our boxes. When you're looking through, you're putting your stack on one side because you already went through those, and people reach across to them in there. Like, it throws off the whole vibe, and you literally want to get up and just walk to another table at that point. You know what I mean? So
listen, we're big women's soccer. We're big women's sports guys here at No Bearing Sports Card Podcast. Like, if you guys follow my Instagram, my 75% of my stories on my sports Instagram is women's sports, right? And just because I've been telling people that if you're going to invest in anything right now, invest in women's sports. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, it's all like just there's so much to it. And I heard you say something about women's soccer, the interview. I'm a big women's soccer person. So are you actively buying women's soccer cards right now?
Kind of. I like to buy it at shows and not necessarily on eBay, because shows is where you get the deals.
Yep.
Online, typically, like, you'll have to pay like the premium price for the different cards you'll want, and there's very rare opportunity to find like a really good deal. I have found with WNBA cards, you can sometimes get good like Prism or things like that on auction if it's not like a
Caitlin Clark.
Indiana Fever player or like a really high-end player like Caitlin Clark or Kate Martin or any of those people. Like, you can get good deals on auctions and stuff like that, especially if it's an auction house or somebody that doesn't have a big WNBA following. The people that are bidding on their cards aren't going to want those cards. But usually women's soccer stuff is PC and it's less transactional for me.
Who are you PCing? Because
No.
I have my Trinity rod because I'm in DC obviously, so like I'm a big Spirit fan. So I keep my PC to 2-row box. So if I start getting more in, like, it overflows, I have to sell something to buy something else. So like I have a little Trinity Rodman and Corey Bethune section, but I've been talking about Katerina Macario for a long time, and she just signed a massive $10 million.
I got her autograph, man.
Yeah, I saw
last
that.
week.
Yeah.
I was excited.
And she just signed a massive $10 million. Me and Cary love this term, boot deal with Nike. So like stuff like that. I don't know. I get excited. So like I heard you mention women's soccer, and I get excited about it. And obviously we're gonna go. Did you go to the SoCo last year at National?
I did not. I heard that it was good, and I'll probably finagle some time to go this year. But regarding PC, Carly Lloyd is that player for me where if I find good deals on her cards, I'll pick them up. She was my favorite player during that era, favorite player growing up, and just someone I really, really resonated with, and I could see a lot of myself in, kind of like being the underdog and just kind of grinding in the dark and doing your own thing and not going against, like, kind of just making your own story to kind of get you to where she ended up being in the spotlight. But like U.S. Women's National Team didn't want her to be a key player or a marquee player that they marketed, but she ended up forcing that hand after kind of just performing and not like giving them no reason why they couldn't put her in the spotlight anymore. And so I kind of feel with that story, but and then I also somewhat collect Penelope Hawking a little bit.
Oh yeah, I have some Penelope.
Yeah, I got to open packs with her at the 2023 National in Chicago. Her and Ali Schlegel were at the Women in the Hobby booth signing. We did a free signing with them, and she actually ended up pulling her own 1-of-1 from the promotional packs we had.
Wow,
that's
and
awesome.
I captured that on
awesome.
video, and I picked the pack. So I had her sign one of the cards that we had. We had like promotional Parkside cards that were autographs, and I had her sign one, and she inscribed, "You picked the pack, I pulled the 1-of-1."
Oh, that's
that's
dope.
awesome.
That's wonderful. That's so
So
cool.
I still have that card. And I've stayed in contact with Penelope. Like, I've gone and seen her play a couple times, and she's awesome, and she's just such an electric player that I think she's super underrated. I may be a little biased, but I think she's underrated in the NWSL, and when she gets opportunity, like when she's starting, she scores. And she's just a super fun player to watch.
So you probably know Matt Pretzel Cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like he was one of the first. So I met him through if you don't know who Mike is, Shamrock Cards. He is the number one my go-to number one source when it comes to women's soccer cards. Right? He is I owe everything to getting into women's soccer to him. And Ivan obviously watched the breaks too. So like but he introduced me to Matt, and obviously I recognized him from going to the Chantilly shows because he's always set up at Chantilly, and he always has a really cool soccer collection to buy from, and he has bargain boxes too, which I appreciate. But the other thing too is trade nights. So like Cary and I did trade night last year. We did it, I think, almost every night, right?
Yeah, dude, trade night was electric.
And it was like,
yeah.
because I've never been, I went to trade night once at Atlantic City. It was crazy because it was inside a casino. And like, that was like my first big show experience. And like, seeing kids walk around with bulletproof briefcases of like $350,000 worth of cards could be a little intimidating as a grown man. So like
I thought it was going to be nothing but trading when I first heard about trade nights years ago, and then I realized, oh, it's just like people who don't have tables. They're just basically selling. I mean, there is some trading going on, but it's just you're selling. And we actually, me and Tim set some stuff out, which, you know, like I've got my $30 high-end card that I found, and then the kids are coming in with like, just like, you know, this is nothing. You know what I mean?
It was a lot of fun though. We met
exactly.
We met a lot of cool kids. Like they literally were excited to like sit down with us, and like they just wanted to hang out, you know, like, and Cary and I are just, we're just two normal guys, right? Like we're literally just like, most of the time you couldn't pick us out of a crowd, right? I mean, sometimes because I wear really weird stuff, but outside of that, like they
Please
literally just
you guys could though.
sat down at a table and we didn't know what to do. Like we literally didn't know what to do. So like, can you explain to people like what trade night is at National and what to expect and kind of how to navigate those waters a little bit?
And where is it? Where is it going to be at the building? I don't know where.
Because it was at last year at Cleveland. Like we just walked downstairs.
It's a lot of questions.
Yeah. So that one's top of my mind. So I believe that it will be the second floor of the convention center. So if you guys aren't familiar with how Chicago's set up, the whole entire show floor is the first floor of Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. And then if you guys have gone to the Chicago show that's hosted there, that show is actually hosted on the second floor. So I believe that the trade nights and all that stuff will be on the second floor. So basically like above where the National takes place, all in the same building. I believe that's where it will be. I'm sure there will be more details that come out sooner, but I'm pretty sure. And then just National trade nights are a breed of its own. There's nothing like it. Each year has looked different, at least in my experience. Like the past 4 times I've gone to usually, I think, almost every trade night that's happened. But it used to just be kind of makeshift and pop up of people posting on their story, oh, this is where the trade night's going to be. And people would all just show up. And then Card Collector 2 and Kentucky Basketball Cards had their own trade night, and that's turned into a trade night that's partnered with the National now. So eBay got involved, and the National make trade nights that are National specific, and there's still pop-ups that happened after trade nights because people just want to do cards 24/7 when they're there. And it is a bit overwhelming walking into a National trade night, especially if you don't know what to expect. There will be people everywhere, cards everywhere. Cards,
literally everywhere, like on the floor, on the wall, like everywhere.
Yeah. If they could be up the walls and on the ceilings, they would be.
Maybe that's what we should do, is just get a big thing of adhesive and just start throwing slabs on the wall. I mean, we'll be good to go.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But yeah, it will just be everywhere. There'll be people everywhere. Usually it gets a little bit hot, so I would say kind of think about that when you're planning on what to wear. You probably don't need a sweatshirt unless it's like outside the show at night. You probably don't need, like, you can have shorts instead of pants.
But pants, definitely wear pants. At some either shorts or long. Please wear pants.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't need pants, and I was like,
no, mental notes.
He's like, oh, I got to bring pants. Gotcha. Check.
But yeah, national trade nights are crazy, and you can probably find at least one card or something that you're looking for. Luckily, I've had good success making trades, and you'll probably find somebody that's interested in your inventory somewhere in a trade night. It's about finding that person, which is the tricky thing. But there will be plenty of like modern football, modern basketball. That will be the majority of what's at the trade nights. I haven't like each year I've kind of seen less and less baseball. So if baseball is your thing, you'll have a harder time finding your people. I'll always look at baseball. So if you see me, I'll always take a look.
I got lucky last year. Jacob Wilson, first Bowman auto for $40 last year.
Yeah.
At
When
trade
did you
night.
sell it? Do you still have it?
No, I sold it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about
And
sound
probably
stuff,
would. I mean, I sold it for a lot less than what I could get for it right now, for sure. But that happens with a lot with what we do because we buy so much, right? And especially like digging through the boxes, and we do a lot of live selling. Obviously, you know, on dibditcards.com. I haven't shilled that at all today, but yeah. So we have our own. I don't know if you're familiar or not. I talked to you a little bit about it at Chantilly. We have our own community marketplace called dibditcards.com. We're actually getting close.
Isn't someone going to be on there soon?
Gary V will be on
okay.
Dibdit Cards with us August
13th,
13th.
4:45
Yep, p.m. Eastern
p.m.
Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time.
So that's going to be a lot of fun, obviously. I've been a big Gary V guy for a while. I still have this right here next to me, actually. Unopened, autographed by Gary
Wow.
V. Yeah, I never opened mine because I'm a weird guy. So, like, a lot of times when I get stuff like that, like, I just don't open it. Like, I would just want to keep it the way that it was. So maybe one day we'll open that, me and my son. But anyways, so, like, it's that. And then we're giving away a box of Optic once we hit 2,000 members, which probably already happened at this point. But yeah, so a lot of cool stuff there. So a lot of live selling. So like I don't hold on to stuff as much as I would like to. Like I think I sold it for like $120. That's probably like a $200 card right now. I haven't looked at the comps recently. I mean, it was a chrome base first auto, but still, like to find that at trade night, there were a couple of guys I was looking for last year, hardcore, who both ended up. One ended up popping crazy. Cary will tell you. I was looking for Christian Campbell all last national, and it was so hard to find. Same thing with Michael Harris. So like I have my guys who I'm going to be hunting because as a big baseball prospector, I try to find these guys before they become big. So what about you? Do any of you guys have already in your mind? Okay. This is what I'm looking because I know we do, but then you always end up buying more stuff.
Like there's every show I feel like that. There's like something I'm in the mood for. Like I'd love to find baseball. I'd love to find whatever. And then you kind of just have to take what's in front of you, what's given you. You could be prepared, and you could have guys and women involved, like in your mind that you want to look out for. But whether you find it or not is a crapshoot, just depending on a show.
Rod, we know you're looking for cases.
He just wants to buy. That's why the worst part about bargain boxing with Rod is he gets there first and then he just buys the box and you don't even look.
Well, if you don't wake up at 3:00 in the afternoon, you would have an opportunity.
No, Cary's up when it comes to national.
No,
Cary's
I'm serious with national. I'm up late editing and I'm up early digging. Trust me.
I'll be the first one up and last one probably go to bed. It's probably much. I don't sleep. I sleep like 4 hours a night, so it's gonna be interesting. But no, for me, I'm more or less going to be looking for not so much for like card stuff. It was like Cary said, like whatever falls in my lap on the get. For me, there's certain packs I'm looking for, like maybe some vintage stuff, maybe some non-sport stuff. I have a couple cool ideas I want to do for video content, so that I'm specifically going to be looking for. So when you talked earlier about having a plan going to national, I was literally just having that conversation myself last night, writing down, okay, what kind of stuff do I want to do? What do I specifically want to look for? Maybe a couple ideas for videos, but at the same point in time it's going to be difficult because I don't know.
Rod has a massive shelf. I don't know if you can see it. Massive shelf of wax, all types of random stuff.
So that's one of my favorite things to do is rip that and then do breaks and do other things with it. So what about you, Tim? You have anything specifically?
Do you watch Gaby at all, Kayla?
Yeah,
he's awesome.
So we've had him on here. We're all big Gaby guys. And I think I'm going to be locked in on some college football because I feel like you're going to be 2-3 weeks out because of how we like to turn around cards so fast. we're going to be 2-3 weeks out after national from when the first game kicks off. So
Yep.
for me, that's a prime time to kind of get, college football stuff because I won't have to hold on to it for too long. Like we college football stuff all the time, high school recruits and all that stuff, right? But like it's hard for me to hold it because I want to move it. I want to reinvest my money, right? But like I think that's going to be a perfect time for college football because we're going to be
It might
so
be
close.
slightly, maybe a little more under the radar because people will be going heavy on NFL. It seems like every national, it's NFL because of the season. I think college football will be bigger than you think, though. I think there will be a bit of competition for college football, but it won't be as big as
Thanks,
as
Gaby.
NFL. No, it's Gaby's created this.
I want to make a prediction now. I think next year, the same time next year, college football cards are going to be so much bigger than they are now.
Oh, dude, I think so
because
too.
There's a giant shift happening, especially with Score releasing the NIL autographs this year and the pro products.
I think
that's going to open up a whole new realm of collectors.
I think the video game too is making a big difference. Like people are in there playing with the actual players. It's kind of like the Madden effect. Yeah. They're getting in there. They're getting to know a deeper knowledge of their teams and stuff. I think that helps.
Does anybody know if On It has a booth this year?
They should. I think. They were at Burbank. I'm almost positive they were at National. I think that's where I met them last year.
Last National. It was kind of in a funky spot. They were like in the Breakers Pavilion, and like a little kind of like, their setup wasn't ideal. I'm pretty sure they'll have a booth again.
Because I'm really trying to get my hands on some women's softball stuff. That's
Dude,
like
On It's fun, man. Yeah. On It's fun, like volleyball, softball, baseball, football. I mean, they're going into everything, which is I think brilliant in a lot of ways because there is they're serving these underserved markets.
Yep.
Huge.
It's that you find that little niche in the market and you go after it, man. That's smart. But Kayla, you mentioned earlier about everything you're collecting for your PC and stuff like that. One thing I haven't heard you say in the entire hour that we've been filming this is talk about selling your cards at all. So do you resell it all or do you just collect? Do you just do it for content? What is your thought? Like because all of us here, we're nickels and dimes make dollars. We go through Bargain Box, we flip it through live shows and Dibdit Cards on whatnot, on eBay, Cary, other places. Where are you in that realm of stuff?
Kind of like a mix of both. I've kind of fluctuated through different stages. Like my first national in 2021, I was just like heavy transacting, flipping. That was my jam. And it's gone the other way where I was like kind of only buying PC stuff. And I think right now I'm in like a little bit of a happy medium where I do a lot of PC stuff, but I also flip. And I like to do like a lot of low end flips. I mostly do eBay. I don't really do live selling. I had done that like a couple years ago. That was a different phase of my hobby journey. But I sell on eBay. I sometimes sell at shows. Like I'll have my vaulted vinyl case with me and I'll carry that around. And if I see dealers that are buying, I'll approach them and say, would you mind like taking a look? I did that at the National or not the National. Yeah. The Nashville show this past weekend. And I sold like a good amount of inventory for me. I think I sold like $320 of inventory just walking around, which for me, that's a pretty good amount. And I think a lot of that ended up like I made a good amount of profit on that. But I'm not like, I never really try to push selling. I do buy cards at shows to flip. Like I do love bargain boxes. I hunt in bargain boxes all the time for PC stuff and cards that I'll flip. So what I like to do sometimes is if I find a PC card, I'll keep looking through a bargain bin to find a card I can flip. That way I'm into that PC card for nothing. So I kind of try to balance it out. I could probably do a better job of like setting aside, like breaking apart the money I have at a show of like, okay, this is the PC money that I want. And this is the flipping money. Because sometimes one term I like to use in the hobby is like, you can be like card rich and money poor or money rich and card poor.
Or you could just be poor like me. all the way around.
360.
Yeah, that's true. You could be.
So when you're flipping these cards, are you flipping to fund your PC? Or are you flipping this to make money from the cards?
Both.
Both, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people that flips of just the fun there because the hobby's expensive. The hobby can be, it can be really cheap or really expensive. And I know some people personally where all they're doing is flipping stuff just to fund their PC, so their PC will be free. Kind of like
there's the one person who spent $28,000 on that rookie royalties box. You know that it's out. They're out there, and they're regretting.
Is that what one of them sold for?
No, I'm just saying, like it was a Dutch auction. Somebody had to pay way too much.
That would be awesome if we had some data at like when on Dutch auctions, like if they provided data like how much product sold at each level. That'd be really interesting data to look at.
That would be.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's their private company, so
that's probably something they're holding tight to the vest.
And honestly, if you spent $28,000 for that, knowing that it hit the floor, you probably
don't want anybody to know.
But
so there's two Caitlin Clark cards on auction right now from that product. One at Golden and one at Fanatics, if I'm not mistaken. The Immaculate and the Flawless. Is that what it is?
It's such a crazy process because like I was listening to Melly Pop talk about it, and he's like, yeah, he goes, I kind of got greedy. I bought one at 4,000, and then I was like, it was going down to 3. I was going to buy 10 more, and then he's like, I should have bought more at 4,000 because right away they were flipping between 5,000 and 8,000 online, and then a bunch of breakers were buying them to do breaks online too, where the breakers were making. It was a crate. Like I saw the breakdown of like some where they were selling spots for, and they were like doubling up all their money on that. Like some breaker had 50 boxes, 50 boxes, like absolutely insane. So
that's wild.
It's such a wild ride, man. Cards is just a crazy process. Like absolutely, if you think about,
there's so many niches within niches. Like it could go from you PCing, women's soccer all the way up to like flipping, cases on whatnot and being big streamers. And everything in between. So it's wild for sure.
Kayla, I do have one tough question for you. I want to ask this one here. So you mentioned earlier about when you started your Instagram that you're faceless because, you're being a female in a male dominated industry. What kind of issues being a female creator, being a female collector? Because when you go to these shows, 90% of these shows are male driven, I would say. You're starting to see more now. You're starting to see in the last couple of years, starting to see more kids, more women in it, which is great. Like we need that. That's how this market is going to expand tremendously. Like I'm very thankful for that. But have you run into a lot of trial tribulations through this whole process? With you kind of being on the outside looking in, I guess you could say, just coming around.
Yeah. I haven't honestly run into too many problems, which I'm grateful for. I think a lot of it sometimes has to do with people thinking I'm way younger than I am, which I'm grateful for, I guess. Sometimes they're like, I walk around shows sometimes and people are like, oh, where's your boyfriend? Where's your dad? Like, they don't think I can be there by myself. Those comments have kind of subsided a little bit in the past year or so. And like earlier on, there will be dealers that would say like, oh, like, do you like this because it's sparkly or like, so those comments exist. They have kind of subsided a little bit too. I think a lot of those dealers are kind of being aged out. They're not as prominent in the hobby, or like that belief system in the hobby is kind of on its way out, which I'm grateful for, that like girls that are getting into it now, or even women that are getting into it now, won't have to experience that, because it was discouraging. But it didn't really bother me that much until I got older and I realized like that's not the norm and people shouldn't be treating people that way. But I was just so used to it that I didn't think anything of it. And I've had a couple dealers along the way that I've kind of kept my distance from through different experiences like that and different interactions online, that I was like, I don't want to be a part of this, and this isn't something that makes me feel comfortable, and it's okay to kind of put those boundaries up. Luckily that's only been like, I can probably count on one hand the people that I'm like, absolutely not, like I don't want to be around them at all. And I think it's because I take the approach of, I try to blend in as much as possible. Being a female in the hobby, some females aren't like that, and they want to wear certain things, and they want to dress a certain way, and they want to do these different things, and that's them, and I don't fault them for it. Me personally, like, I don't try to draw any eyes to me. That's not my jam. Like, I'd rather just blend in and be one of the guys as much as possible to not draw eyes to me.
Mm-hmm.
And there obviously will be, because there are very few females. I mean, it's getting more and more, but there will be eyes. on any female collector as they're walking a room, because there's just not that many.
Yeah.
And I try to take note of that. And I also surround myself with other collectors that make me feel comfortable. I joke around all the time. If you see me walking around Chantilly, you'll probably see me walking around with somebody that's probably at least a foot taller than me. And I joke around they're all like my bodyguards. And it's just funny. But I try to surround myself with people that make me feel comfortable. And if something did go wrong, then I have a Rolodex of people that I could could help me in any way.
Did you see Cary's face when she said that? Oh, you buying that card because it's sparkling? Cary's like puts his head down. Why? Do you get that? People say it to you a lot?
No. I was like, I don't want to, because I interrupt a lot, right? So I'm like, I wanted to say like, I like sparkly cards.
Yeah, I know you
so
do.
like, I want shiny cards too. Like that's I dig those. The
So
shinier and sparklier, the better.
Feel
I'm
attacked, didn't you?
fortunate enough where I have a handful of women in the hobby that I'm friends with from local, right? Like one of the best, diggers that I know, her name is Jen, and like she's a female, and like, a lot of times obviously we're big supporters of sports women in the hobby and everything like that. Something that's important to us. So like I'm always getting like intel from her, like stuff that she sees and hears at shows, because like I want to be made aware of what it's like to be a woman in the hobby. And so like I'm super fortunate to be around some really fabulous women in the hobby who are super smart, super intelligent, and just downright cool. Like I can sit at a box with for 3 hours, and I look over and Jen's got the towers of cards. Like she's filling up. I'm like, Jen, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know. Like there's just so many. Like it's like 6,000 cards at the dollar box, right? But like how Dollar Dave at Chantilly, he was in the middle towards the back this time, but last Chantilly he was in the front against the wall. He has some of the best dollar boxes out there. So like you spend hours there. But like, what is it like with other, like you just explained what it's like for being around men in the hobby. What about other women in the hobby? And like, who are some people that you like to follow or not necessarily look up to, but like that you think are doing, making strides in the hobby for women right now?
That's a good question. Luckily I've kind of found some other females in the hobby that encourage me, and I also encourage them. And there are a lot of supports. Like I've adopted so many aunts in this hobby, and like so many people that could be like my sisters or people like that. And it makes it a lot easier sometimes when you have those people, familiar faces, that when you're in a room of I don't even know how many males, like finding a female collector that you also know and being like, hey, like just having that common ground, because it can sometimes be a lot. I always joke around, especially at the national. For me, it's really funny because I'm 5 foot tall, like, so I'm short. And one of the downsides of that is I'm at everyone's armpit level, which is terrible at the national. So sometimes I need a little bit of fresh air and finding a female that doesn't smell bad.
Can we talk about that? Can please
bring deodorant to the
and
national?
Please.
Yeah.
Thankfully, like if you don't bring deodorant for anybody else, do it for me, because I'm at your armpit level.
Listen, I go to the card shows in Florida. I'm like, oh, sometimes I walk through there. I'm like, it's hot, man. Like people sweat just walking through the parking lot.
That's what I'm learning, man. Like this is my first year in Florida full time, and we've been to back weeks of card shows. And I think they have air conditioning at both these places, but it wasn't working because there's too many people in the spaces, and it was just so hot, so incredibly hot. So bring deodorant, guys.
Yeah, regarding like female collectors that I personally enjoy their content or I look up to, Ellie Break Shop. I don't know how old she is. She's younger than me. And she's based in California, and she just does a great job, and she's a hustler and a flipper, and I hope she's someone that feels comfortable enough to stay in the hobby for a long time, because it seems like she enjoys it. There's also Haley Slabmania. I love her content. She's kind of slowed down a little bit because she works with Cards HQ now as a breaker, but she does a great job as a breaker. She's kind of found her groove there. She's pulled a couple 101s recently. Breaks with Jess. A lot of people know her for working with Bleecker for a long time. She's now with the V Friends team, and she's helped them grow. Courtney at VFriends is also awesome. But there's just so many. Like, you can find them if you look hard enough. And people that, I mean, I'm never someone that pumps my own tires, but my whole.
Well, I like that saying.
I've never
heard that
That's a
one
good
before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm never somebody that pumps my own tires, really.
Unless you get a flat one, right? You know, then you have to pull into the gas station and drop some quarters.
That's not really how I work or how I operate, but I am. So by the time this episode comes out, this will already be done and finished. But the Friday before the National, I'm hosting an all-girls trade night in Effingham, Illinois, with Baseball Card Connection. And it's a first of its kind. I don't know of any other all-girls trade nights that have happened. But my why behind everything I do is, when I came into this at 9-10 years old, I didn't see anyone that looked like me. I didn't see anyone that represented me. Even at shows, like, I didn't see really female dealers at all. And so my why is to kind of make younger Kayla that's coming in now to kind of be that person that I wish I had when I started. And so that's why I do all the content I do. That's why I operate the way I do, because I want to be somebody that, I mean, really anyone can see themselves in, but especially younger females that maybe go to shows, go to trade nights, and don't see any other girl in the room. They know that there's somebody else that has experienced the same things.
Well, make sure you tag us on anything that you do to promote that, because obviously we would all love to promote something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, I think we're getting to the end here, guys. Do you guys have any final questions for her before we head on out?
We're gonna meet up right at National now. Yeah. Have we proven ourselves to be like normal, respectable gentlemen who wear backwards hats?
Yeah, we're all doing it today. Yeah,
yes, we do it every day.
As long as you guys are wearing deodorant, we're good.
Yeah,
yes,
there we go.
You don't have to worry about that with us.
Mental note. Okay.
Cary, any final words, Cary?
No, I mean, like, I've never been, this is me, like, on any podcast, I'm never much of a question guy. I'm just a riff guy. So I just think what you're doing is awesome. Keep it up. And yeah, tag us if you need to, and we can help as much as we can, for sure.
Absolutely. Same thing here. Is like, your content's great. I've seen you in multiple videos, Card Collector 2, some Gary V and other stuff out there. I didn't put the name with when he told me he was coming on here at first, and I was like, oh, I know exactly who she is. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm excited that you're on here. I'm excited to meet you, and look forward to seeing you at the National as well.
Yeah, it will be awesome.
All right, so this is how we close out a show, okay?
Hold on. Before you do that, we have breaks available tonight on Dibdit Cards. Big Cat is going to be doing a football or baseball break. We have Commonwealth Picker doing some packs, going to ship or rip. I think Dave's going to be doing a non-sports break, so make sure you guys go check those out. Just because we're at the National doesn't mean the party stops on Dibdit Cards.
Yes.
All right, now go ahead.
All right, so this is how we do this. We put all of our hands in, and then we do no bangers on 3. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. No bangers on 3. 1, 2, 3. No bangers!
You better have done